Hey, what's up, people? This is Harold Tenchi, and I am back for another TMNT Rant Rave review for this week's episode entitled Race with the Demon. Okay, so this episode we get to find out what happened to that car that got doused with mutagen during the croaking episode. It turned into a crazy speed demon. The name for this mutant speed demon, perfect for it. Little on the nose, little obvious, but still perfect for it. The personality of this demon, ridiculous. You know what I mean? He doesn't care about anyone else but himself. He possesses whoever is driving the car because he is the car, and that leads into a pretty interesting story, which involves Casey Jones and Donatello finally getting along. Okay, so it starts off with them coming back from a shopping trip, and they almost get ran off the road by Speed Demon. After that happens, Casey Jones has a little bit of issue with this. Of course, who wouldn't? You know what I mean? And he wants payback. The car that him and Donnie have been working on is finally in working order, and they turn it into a nice hot rod. While during a road test, he decides to go out and find the Speed Demon, and almost gets ran off the road again. The hot rod ends up getting pummeled by this crazy mutant, and they have to repair it again. But Casey decides that only him and Donnie can take this speed demon down. So what do they do? Donnie has a plan. He takes pieces from the Krang's old ship and integrates that into the new design of the hot rod, and it looks sweet. It looks sweet. I know it's to make toys, but whoever came up with this design for that and the speed demon itself, big ups to you in the art department back in, and whoever wrote this this is a fun episode. So during the repairing process for this car, they discover that the speed demon car is leaking mutagen, and they take some back for samples, and a chicken gets into it. One of the chickens that they have gets into the mutagen. Now, I thought, since it hadn't touched anything prior to this, or maybe because it was outside, that it was going to mutate in that way. You know what I mean? But instead, it just gets a bigger brain. Its intelligence goes through the roof. Now, after seeing that, because it's a brain, it's a bulbous freaking brain. It's a chicken with a bulbous freaking brain, and I thought it was going to start talking. But no, it just starts doing complex math equations and starts communicating with the guys via typing on the computer. So they decide to make that the car's navigation system is like second navigator, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting, because originally they wanted to use AI, they wanted to use artificial intelligence, but they were having problems with that. As soon as the chicken becomes a mutant, it becomes more helpful. So Mikey comes in, gives it a name, Dr. Cluckingsworth, MD, yeah, and she becomes the onboard navigator. So during this time, they bring out the new turtle racer and go out and find the speed demon. Speed demon Speed demon possesses Donnie. We get the original driver out of the car, right? We don't know his name, but I'm pretty sure I don't know what it is, but I think it was voiced by Steve Bloom. Tell me if I'm wrong, if anybody has seen this episode, but it just sounds like his voice for a minute. Anyway, I digress. During this time, when they're trying to stop Speed Demon, because now they have this whole elaborate plan, and they got Dr. Cluckingsworth navigating and telling them where it's going to appear and all that. And it's in the. I can't stop laughing because there was so many weird moments here. It becomes Ninja Turtles meets Fast and the Furious meets the Burnout video game, and the Speed Demon possesses Donnie. And makes a deal with Casey Jones. Like, if you win this race, they decide to do a drag race. If you win this race, then I'll let your friend go. But if I win, I get your hot rod and I get you, Casey Jones, right? And the design for Speed Demon in combination with Donnie, big head, small skinny arms. The car itself is now turned into basically a bit like a bigger car, but the stick shift is on the side of the car, and I'm like, what the? Okay, yeah, this is for toys, but I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. So at this point, Casey Jones is pissed. Everybody's telling him that to calm down. We're gonna need to formulate a plan. Casey's like, no, we got a plan. Get that thing off of Donnie pronto, right? So in the end, they decide to go with this new feature in the car. But this is a bunch of old feature in the car. There's wings in the car. There's freaking there's freaking turbo in the car. And the last part is to use a highly volatile, highly dangerous mutagenic egg that Dr. Cluckingsworth lays, and it goes into the engine of the car and turbo boosts it. And I'm like, okay, there's a lot of imagination that went into this episode. I mean, there's a lot of that imagination that went into this franchise to begin with, okay? But this episode, a lot of imagination, a lot of ideas were probably thrown up and down, but you can really tell that they had fun with this episode. This was a very nice episode, and we get to see Donnie and Casey Jones finally mend fences, and they worked really well together. So let me know what you guys think of this episode. What was your favorite part? And would you like to see Speed Demon come back? I think he was a very fun yet dangerous mutant, and I'd like to see him come back in the future. But let me know what you guys think of this whole thing, and I will see you on the next review. For more Ninja Turtle news and reviews from my perspective, check out the TMNT playlist, and I will see you on the next video. Peace, love, and never be normal.